and a lot of black men sitting. Let's change that right now. I see sisters over there. Ladies, if you need a seat, come right down the aisle. Unless y'all want to stand. Ladies, if you want a seat, come right down the aisle. Make yourself known. Come on, queens. Y'all got to demand your respect. Come on. Come right on down the aisle. If we got ladies in the hallway, bring them on in. Or there's sisters in the hallway. We got to set the right example. No ladies stands while brothers sit unless they choose to stand. Over here. Queens, what's up? Do y'all want a seat? Brothers, come on, brothers. Brothers, we got sisters over here. I see mothers and grandmothers standing back there. Come on now. We got any more seats over here? Let's do this right. Let's do this right. Let's do this right. Come on, make yourself known. Don't be shy. Black women have to stop being shy about demanding respect. Come on now. If you need a seat, step on up. Come on. Yes, come on. You sisters in the back, stop hiding. Come on. You can still have a seat even though you have a weave. Come on. I'm picking with you. Come on. You can still sit. You still a black woman. You still a black woman. Come on. Come on. You good? My fellow school psychologist, you good back there? You good? You sure? All right. All right, family. Okay, a few more seats. And thank you to the brothers for doing that as well. Thank you to the brothers for giving up the seats. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you to the brothers. You good back there, Queen? You good? You don't need no seat. You looking shy. I think she need a seat back there. You need a seat? All right, y'all got this. Who cut the lights off? Damn. He'd rather cut off the lights than give up his seat. All right. Brothers and sisters, around this time, 150 years ago, the United States Congress ratified the 13th Amendment, which we know did not give us political and economic freedom, but gave us a degree of physical freedom. This December of 2015 will mark our 150th year since the official close of slavery. So this year, we must engage in some very deep reflection because we have to ask ourselves a very important question. And that question is simply this. After 150 years since the close of physical slavery, can we use the excuse that the white man is the only reason for why we haven't made more progress? We have to look in the mirror and be honest and ask ourselves, despite all he has done, and of course he is the #1 enemy of African people in progress, but is he alone to blame for why we are not much better off now than we were 150 years ago? And if the European is not exclusively to blame for our predicament, then who else is to blame? We have to understand something, brothers and sisters. In order for there to be an oppressor, there must be an oppressed person who is participating in his condition. In order for there to be an enslaver, there must be someone who is enslaved, who is participating in the condition. So as much as we talk about white supremacy, we have to look at the black complicity in our situation. And I'm saying this now because I don't want another 150 years to pass and for us to still be in the same situation because we don't want to look in the mirror and acknowledge that most of us are as white as our oppressors are. To acknowledge that most of us are infected with the same gene of Europeanism that our oppressors have. It's one thing. It's one thing. It's one thing for another person to oppress you. But it's something altogether different when you participate in your own oppression because you're too comfortable to do something about what you're going through. Now, brothers and sisters, and I say this respectfully, we have to analyze this movement that we refer to as the conscious community. We got to take a deep look at this because as I look, and I can speak on it, I'm the most requested speaker in the conscious community. I can speak on it. But I'm afraid, though, that we might have walked out of the church and left the Bible behind and walked into consciousness and picked up conscious text, but the hustling spirit of the church came right with us into black consciousness. In other words, I'm wondering whether or not we are just as guilty as a T.D. Jakes. I'm wondering whether or not we're just as guilty as a Creflo Dollar. I'm wondering whether or not the conscious community is actually emulating the exact same people who they claim to despise. I got to say this because as we go into the new year, everything has to be under analysis. I look at how a second ago a lot of our sisters didn't even feel comfortable enough to demand a seat. There's something wrong when a black woman don't even feel that I'm worthy of sitting down while so many black men sit. And that's not the fault of the brothers necessarily, but there's something going on in the community where we don't really feel like community no more. Brothers and sisters, we always talk about once upon a time we used to look out for each other. We used to talk about once upon a time how the next door neighbor could punish me if I didn't do what I was supposed to do. But once upon a time, we were a community. The problem with once upon a time is that the European, with our support, has engineered a process by which most black people live their lives under a philosophy of radical individualism. I think we practice radical individualism more than the Jew. I think we practice radical individualism more than the Anglo-Saxon. I think we practice radical individualism more than any of the other groups who we claim to hate so much. We talk black, but that's the easy part. We dress black, but that's the easy part. We study black, but that's the easy part. I think some of us have gotten comfortable with the cultural Halloween costumes we wear. I think that some of us think that because I burn my incense and because I wear my shea butter, and I think because some of us have been to Africa and read some books and took some trips, because we've gained a degree of knowledge and information we think that transforms us from slave to free man. Well, I got news for you, brothers and sisters. Information does not cease to make you a slave. Knowledge of your history alone is not sufficient to replace slavery. I'm a student of 19th century black history. And when you study a lot of our enslaved ancestors, you will find that they knew exactly who they were. You will find that a lot of them knew African language. You will find that some of them had knowledge of classical African civilization that would rival almost any scholar we have today. They were not all ignorant, but yet and still they remain enslaved. So then, if information does not transfer you out of slavery, what does? If reading the books doesn't stop your servitude, what does? If knowing where you come from doesn't change the relationship between you and white people, what does? And the answer to that question is power. We suffer what we suffer because we are not organizing and utilizing our power. The relationship between black people and white people is based on a power dynamic. Just like the relationship between a man and a woman is based on a power dynamic. The relationship between a parent and a child, a boss and an employee is a power dynamic. So if the information doesn't stop the slavery, and power does. And power is normally yielded through institutions. As long as African people own no institutions, you will always be a damn slave. I want to be clear, because some of us have gotten so comfortable with the culture that it's become another religion. Some of us have gotten so comfortable with the information that it's become another vehicle of escapism. See, there's nothing wrong with the culture. We need it. It's who we are. There's nothing wrong with the spirituality. We need it. Nothing wrong with the stones and the healing and all the things we do. We need it. But please don't mistake it for freedom. And what I see black people doing is, rather than overcoming white supremacy, we are succumbing to white supremacy by simply making it more comfortable to exist within it. Brothers and sisters, all we did is what the church did, and that is, don't transform your reality, just make it a little bit more bearable. I would argue to you right now that most of us as African people, and I'm speaking globally, most of us don't have a problem with white folk. We don't have a problem with white supremacy. We don't have a problem with white racism. No, we don't. Because when people really have a problem with how they're being treated, they do something about it. Which is why I argue we don't have a conscious community per se. We have a learned community. Because once one truly becomes conscious, behavior follows that awakening. So if you claim to be conscious and you ain't done shit to change your situation, you ain't as conscious as you think you are. But let me go a little bit further. When people come in for therapy, right? I'm a therapist. People come to therapy, they're conscious that they're an alcoholic. They're conscious they're on crack. They're conscious they're depressed. They're conscious they're anxious. They're conscious they have bipolar. They're conscious of their anxiety problems. But just knowing that you're sick don't mean a damn thing unless you're going to transform the sickness into health. Are y'all following me now? So when we say we are conscious, are we bragging about the fact we know we're sick, we know about the sickness, but we don't care enough about it to do something about it? Information does not change the unconscious program upon which we operate. I could put a laptop computer up here, put a flash drive in it with all negative information about African people. Take the negative flash drive out, put one with all positive information about African people. But the computer will continue to run the way it's been running because the central processing unit will take the data, positive or negative, and use it as a weapon of destruction. You see the same thing amongst the learned community. Everything we learn, we use it to fight somebody else with it. Every ideology, every religious persuasion becomes cause for combat. That's no different than a gang on a corner. See, until you deactivate the Willie Lynch chip, which is in the subconscious, you don't change Negroes into free people. In fact, let me go a step further with you. When we talk about properly educating African children, I think we miss the central importance of education, which is not education. Schools do not primarily exist to educate. The primary purpose of education is socialization. Your son can't read, but he knows the Star Spangled Banner. Your daughter can't count, but she can name all the presidents of the United States of America. They don't know nothing about Obama, but they love him. Because the socialization is more powerful than the education. The education is the information, but socialization teaches a people how to think, how to act, and how to feel. You can teach black children all day long whatever you want, but until you socialize them, until you re-socialize our children, until you change the way black people spend, they can study ancient African civilization all day and still go to the Chinese store. I want to deal with it because this is our ancestors' year here. 2015 is 150 years. Our ancestors are saying, I know y'all can do better than this because we did better with less. Harriet Tubman said, wait a minute. What do y'all mean y'all can't stop police brutality in New York City? Do you realize we stopped the whole damn slavery machine? George Washington Carver says, what do you mean you can't live without the white man's medications? When I transformed not only pharmacology, but agricultural science. Brothers and sisters, Napoleon Bonaparte, and I'm no supporter of any white supremacist, but as a student of military science, I study all generals. I study all wars. And a lot of the wars I study don't even involve black folks. But I got to study the science. And what did Napoleon say about war? He said that if I had to choose between a well-equipped army with no guts and courage versus an army that was poorly equipped with the guts and courage, give me the army with the guts and the courage versus the ones with the weapons, because the moral is to the physical 3-1. So the reason white supremacy is beating on us ain't just because we don't own nothing. It ain't just because he runs the economy and the criminal justice system. White supremacy is beating black folk because white folk know we scared of them. Can we be honest? See, this is why we got to socialize the children. Because when you socialize, you eliminate the fear. But when you just educate, you don't. How many smart-ass, scared Negroes we have in America? How many mainstream Afrocentric scholars who know everything about our past, but scared as hell of confronting the oppressor? Education is one thing. Socialization is something totally different. For those of you who've been in the military, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you went to boot camp in the Marine Corps and boot camp in the Army, when you went to boot camp in the reserves, you got an education. They opened up books and taught you what to believe. But it didn't come to life until they made you live it. And through the socialization, which is done in groups, they were able to take you from being who you were to what they wanted you to be. This is why I support homeschool. But I understand that it's a temporary Band-Aid until we have large-scale academies where we can socialize en masse. Because one of the biggest issues that African people have is getting along with other African people. And if it's one thing that we got to crush and crush now, it is the ego of the Negro. I don't mind talking like this, brothers and sisters. When y'all first learned who I was on the national scene years ago, I was attacked. People accused me of not having no credentials because I didn't come out and say I graduated from the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine with a doctorate degree. They attacked me because I didn't say I got my master's in school psychology from Millersville University. They attacked me because I didn't tell them that I got my principal master's in cert from Lehigh University. I was attacked. They accused me of everything under the sun because people who thought they run this thing felt that I was encroaching on their territory. Youth and elder. In many respects, my oratory has been as much as a blessing as a curse. Since I don't have an equal on this thing we call a microphone, it breeds jealousy and envy, and people attempt to destroy. But many of them had to take a step back for one reason and one reason alone. Actually, two. Number one, Dr. Umar Johnson's proof is in my damn pudding. That's number one. Who has helped more African children than me? Call his damn name. Who has helped more mothers fighting for their boys in school? Call his damn name. Who put more kids out of special ed, wrote more letters to the judges to keep them out of jail than me? I don't just talk this. I walk mines. My proof is in the pudding. I don't make a living running around the country giving my opinion but not doing shit. My proof is in my pudding. And feel free to quote me. The other reason why they had to back up is because y'all said so. It was the people from New York to California, from Houston to Chicago, who said, y'all can attack whoever y'all want, but him, you're going to leave him alone. And I want to thank y'all for that, because I don't take what I do for granted. I don't take this time in front of y'all for granted. And y'all know I like to come up and I like to have fun and crack my jokes, but I take it home every night. When we started that fundraiser for the Fred Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, I thought we would have hit that $2 million. I did. I said, for all the children I've helped, for all the free things I've done for my people, for which I need no thank you, I said they're going to come out for me. And a lot of you did. And we raised $250,000, but we're still short. And it bothers me because I know for Christmas, I'm always bothered when black people celebrate European holidays, but I was really bothered this year because I said, my people are out buying video games, but our children ain't got a school of their own. My people are out buying TVs and computers and clothes, but our boys don't have a school. It bothered me because when Officer Darren Wilson murdered Michael Brown, white folk came together and gave that cracker $300,000 in 3 weeks. And I'm still floating with $250,000 after 6 months. But guess what? I'm not broken or dismayed because the donations are coming. We're going to get to that $2 million, brothers and sisters. We're going to do it. And even today, somebody sent me another article that said, Dr. Umar, somebody wrote another article about you not having no degrees. Another article about St. Paul's has been sold. St. Paul's has been condemned. St. Paul's this and St. Paul's that. Why don't you respond? I said, let me tell you why I will not respond. Because there's no better way to shut up a damn hater than to achieve the goal. So when we finally get to school, that will be all I need to say to those people. But I want to ask y'all, stop fueling the haters by reposting these articles. You're not for me. You do not support Dr. Umar Johnson if you take some hating-ass article and go repost it all over social network. Talking about, look what somebody said about Umar. No, that's you backing them up. You let it die where you found it. Either defend me or shut the hell up, but don't spread the filth. $150 years, but we ain't got no supermarkets. 150 years, we ain't got no airline. 150 years, we ain't got a 100% totally African-owned bank that invests in the community. 100 years, where's our dry cleaners? 100 years, we don't produce no automobile, but we invented every part on it. 100 years. Brothers and sisters, we can do better than this. As we go into the new year, there's some changes we got to make. We got to shift the paradigm about some things. And one of the first paradigms that need to be shifting, and I don't speak for this church because I know the people in this church and I know they do the work of the community. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here, but I know it to be true. But we're going to have to start holding religious leaders accountable for the funds that go through their hands. Black people put $3 million in church every weekend. $3 million in the mosque every weekend. $3 million in a Jehovah's Witness temple every weekend. With that type of money, why we ain't got schools yet? With that type of money, why we ain't got banks yet? You mean to tell me you give Jesus and Muhammad $3 million every Sunday and you ain't once asked for an accounting of it? We talk about the Chinese man who pimps the community. We talk about the Arab who pimps the community. We talk about the East Indian who pimps the community. But what about the preachers who pimp the community? Do you realize religious pimping is more exploitative than all the others put together? Done in the name of God. So the next time you go to church, after the collection has been offered up, I want you to pick up the collection and go to the middle of the church hall and call out to the Lord and say, Father, Mother, Supreme Conscious, Amin Ra, Nyame, Chikwu, Olodumare, whatever name you choose. We took up an offering for you. And we're going to go ahead and toss it on up to you. And whatever you need, you take. And whatever you don't need, let it come back down to us. And whatever comes down to us, we're going to give it back to the people who it was taken from, Lord. Brothers and sisters, we got to do better. I'm not against religion. I'm against the fact that the church used to be the most revolutionary institution in our community. I'm against the fact that you collect so much money, have the attention of so many of our people, and rather than organizing them to do anything with it, you put them to sleep. I'm not a socialist, I'm a nationalist, but I understand what Karl Marx meant when he said religion was the opiate of the people. Because religion doesn't teach you to fight back and crush it. Religion teaches you to be comfortable with it. How are we going to win like that? Teaching us to be colorblind. How are you going to win like that? How are you going to blend in? Do you realize how different we appear to everyone else? You colorblind and nobody else is. We're all God's children, you're taught. Well, where were God's children during slavery? Where were God's children during the civil rights struggle? Where were God's children during the Black Power movement? Where were God's children during the Michael Brown situation and Eric Garner? Where were God's children then? Why you keep trying to fit in with everybody for? Do you realize that psychologically speaking, a person who cannot stand alone, a person who is willing to be disrespected just to be accepted, is a person with no self-respect? Why don't white people respect black people? Why? How can you respect the people who you have mistreated worse than dogs for 400 years, and every time you turn around, they want to know if we can all get along? Black man, we got to close ranks. If we want the respect of our women and our children back, we're going to have to stand up and in some cases die for it. The white man has gotten arrogant with his disrespect of black women and children. He's gotten arrogant as hell because we don't stand up the way we used to stand up for our women. I'm not talking about your woman. I'm not dealing with your family. I'm talking about the family. Because you're real quick to get a brother, well, I'll look out for my woman. I don't. But what about another sister who ain't got it, man? She get disrespected. Who's going to safeguard her honor? Remember that word, honor? We used to be the most honorable people on earth. You couldn't buy Africans with money once upon a time. You couldn't disrespect our women once upon a time. You couldn't even make us take your money once upon a time. We lost it, and it's time to get it back. It's time to get it back. That's okay, we down on one knee. That's all right. Because if you notice, after you get an injury, for those of you who played sports like I did in high school, sometimes the fractured limb gets repaired and ends up being stronger than what it was when it got broken down. So if we play our cards right, brothers and sisters, as Attorney Maddox said earlier, what about our own dynasty? Ancestor John Henry Clark used to talk about having another great African Renaissance. We can be that. But in order to get there, you're going to have to go through some hell. In order to get there, you're going to have to give up all your white friends. In order to get there, you got to burn your white Jesus picture. In order to get there, you might have to start practicing an eye for a damn eye and a tooth for a damn tooth in order to get there. On Monday, right here, same place, same time, on Monday the 12th, we're going to celebrate the born day of the great Honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. And I'll be speaking there as well, so we want you guys to come back out. But I want to say something because I know there's a movie coming out tomorrow called Selma. I want to say something because in Anchorage, Alaska, I'll be speaking on Dr. King's True Earth Day, the 15th. And on the federal holiday, the 19th, I'll be in Chattanooga, Tennessee for the first time honoring Dr. King. Now, as a Pan-African nationalist, as a Garveyite, some people can't understand why I have so much admiration for this man, Dr. King. But I want to say this to you black people. We have to be careful into buying into the falsified descriptions of our ancestors that were fabricated by white folks. Dr. King had a whole lot more going for himself than just a damn dream. The man was not perfect. That's true. He made his mistakes. That's true. But how many men you know can go to jail over 300 times? How many men you know can have his house firebombed twice? How many men you know with a doctorate degree, born in a middle-class family, could have fell back and had a megachurch like T.D. Jakes or some damn body, but instead said, I'm going to stand for my people if it costs me my life. Don't you let white folk take Dr. King from us. I don't care what they put in the history book. I don't care what they talk about at the White House. We got to make sure we know who the real Dr. King was. We got to know that the Southern Christian Leadership Conference knew that nonviolence was just a tactic. It wasn't their religion. Because if it was their religion, you're going to have to understand why they had a stockade of weapons on standby. Why was Dr. King collecting weapons if he really believed in nonviolence? See, one thing we got to get better at, we have to recognize when our leaders are in front of the white man's camera, they might have to say one thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's what they believe in. What is the essence of war? Deception. When Malcolm came back from the Middle East and Malcolm said, I saw Muslims of every color. And if the white man in America accepts Islam, I think Islam can do for the white man in America what is done for white men in the Middle East. That was propaganda. Well, what was the propaganda for, doctor? I'm going to tell you, Malcolm needed to open up a public avenue to work with Dr. King and the civil rights movement. He had to make it publicly acceptable to black people so he could work with Dr. King. Some of you judged Malcolm and ridiculed Malcolm. If he was a damn integrationist, what he doing running around with Kwame Nkrumah now? If he was an integrationist, what was he doing speaking at Garvey days? If he was an integration, why did Malcolm never change his position that black people need to have organizations of their own? Don't let nobody steal our ancestors' memories from us. And if we're going to talk about saving King, we're going to talk about saving my ancestor, the greatest black man to ever walk on American soil. And that's the Honorable Frederick Douglass. Let me say this. I see the underhand remarks that certain people make about Frederick Douglass in an attempt to hit me. But they don't want to hit me straight on because they know I hit the hell back. It's very true and unacceptable about the fact that as an old man, Frederick Bailey married a white woman. Wrong and unacceptable. I do not condone it. But let me tell you what else I'm not going to condone. I'm not going to condone black folk skipping over a blue, black, purple, nappy-headed black woman named Anna Murray Douglass. his first and only real wife, who helped them run from slavery to freedom, helped them build up the abolitionist movement, gave him all of his children. Y'all give the white woman more credit than the queen who made it. I don't have a problem with you repudiating the fact he married that white woman, but recognize when he did it and why he did it. Not acceptable. But y'all talk of her as if he married her when he escaped from slavery. Y'all talk of her as if she gave him his children. Do you realize I was at a fundraiser 2 weeks ago and a sister came up and picked up the Fred Douglass, Marcus Garvey iron-on patch, and we had the Anna Douglass, Amy Garvey button, and she said, Dr. Umar, can you explain to me why you would name a school for African girls after a white woman? I said, Queen, what are you talking about? She said, you don't know that Anna Douglass was white? I said, you fool. That woman was blue, black, purple, big lip, broad nose, nappy kitchen, and everything. Loved her to death, blue, black, purple woman. A leader in her day and time, brothers and sisters. So all I'm saying is when you level your criticisms, put it in the right context, or you mislead the next generation. We got kids running around, Frederick Douglass married a white woman. They don't know he was an old man a few years from death. They don't know that the woman he damn near died from depression over was a black woman. Don't let nobody steal our heroes. A man who taught himself how to read under punishment of death. The only black leader who was a leader in both slavery and freedom. A black man who single-handedly, with one book, Narrative of the Life, challenged white, racist, eugenicists, false assumptions that black folk were the intellectual inferiors of white folk. They said he didn't write this book. No way in hell a Negro wrote something like this, having received no formal education. So Frederick told the abolitionists, I'm going to have to name my slave master. They said it's suicide to do that. He said, I don't have a choice. If these people believe I'm a fraud, I will not be able to fight for my people's freedom. They got to know that this came from my hands. And then when he had to go to London, because the slave tracker was after him, the white folks over in England raised enough money to buy his freedom. And they came to Frederick Douglass and said, listen, don't go back home. Send for your wife and sons and bring them on over here. You can live happily ever after in England. He said, I cannot do that. Until my people are free, I'm not free either. I'm going back. Don't let nobody steal our ancestors. Ida B. Wells, who worked with Marcus Garvey, read what she said about Douglass. She said, I had bought into the general opinion of many black folk that he had begun to change his position on white people. And then as an old man, I went to an event that Frederick Douglass was keynote speaker at. And she said, everything I had been led to believe about this man was wrong. And that indeed, he still was the preeminent leader of black folk in this country. Don't let nobody steal our ancestors from you. Black woman. Black woman. I want you to give our girls a better idea of what the black womanhood is all about. I need you to be a stronger example than you've ever been. I need you to be direct with your daughter about what is ladylike and what is not ladylike. I want you to turn off Scandal. I want you to turn off Basketball Wives. I want you to turn off the reality shows. I'm going to wrap up in 15. I'm going to make sure we're done at 10 on the dot because I know. I'm at the movies. I'm at the movies watching No Good Deed. Idris Elba, Taraji P. Henson. A movie we find out about at the end is about a black man, Idris Elba, who breaks out of jail to go kill his white girlfriend for cheating on him. And then we find out at the end of the movie that Taraji P. Henson's husband, a successful lawyer, is cheating on her with the same white woman that Idris Elba broke out of jail to kill. And then I went to go see Addicted. And once again, a black woman cheating on a black man with a white man. And then I come home, and there's Olivia Pope. A black woman who can't find no black man good enough for her, but don't mind being a bed wench to other white men until the white president wants to sleep with her. Black woman, how could you? How could you? Do you know what you're feeding into? You're helping white folk assassinate your image in the public mind. Black man, we got some work to do. We got some work to do. Black man, we have to engineer a love black woman campaign that's so strong that our sons would rather be married than just sleeping around because it looks so damn sexy. We got to make a campaign where our boys would rather make a black woman a wife instead of a baby mom because it's part of who he is as a man. We got to do this. People talking about what we're going to do to fix the black situation in America. I'm going to tell you one of the things we must do. There's no magic bullet, but there are prerequisites to the struggle. And one of the prerequisites to restoring African people to our ancient glory, one of the prerequisites is that the black man and the black woman got to lock shoulders side by side and let nothing come between them. Until the black man and the black woman are on the same square, there won't be no revolution. Until the black man and the black woman are side by side, there will be no revolution. Until the black family is fixed, there will be no fixing. Because we out of balance. Divinity is about balance between the masculine and the feminine principle. The whole universe is based on the balance between the masculine and the feminine principle. You see it in the animal kingdom. You see it in the plants and flowers. You see it with the sun and the moon. You see it with the animals in the water. You see it even within the atom, the basic molecule of all creation. There's a positive charge and a negative charge. So you mean to tell me this is how it is in nature? You mean to tell me this is how it is in the solar system? You mean to tell me that this is how the world operates, but you think you don't have to respect that law and not have your situation out of order? Fix that and you fix nothing else. And that is why we're against homosexuality. I don't hate my brothers. I don't hate my lesbian sisters, but I hate the behavior because I know they wasn't put here for that. I don't hate them, but they out of balance. The feminine and the masculine. Our whole spiritual reality is based on the attraction of opposite. The positive charge must have a negative charge. You ever notice when you need some batteries for your cell phone or you need some batteries for the flashlight, you pop open the back and you see positive and negative. It makes the currency go round. We got the good back and good standing with the Lord. I'm not talking about no fake-ass, superficial spirituality. I'm not talking about that. Burning incense and looking like you're meditating just to be seen. I'm not talking about that. No way in hell you serious about spirituality, and every spiritual activity you engage in must be seen by other people. That's ego, and ego is the enemy of spiritual transformation. You want to push that spirit up the spine? You want to activate them chakras? You want to force your soul through the third eye to meet with God? That's a very private and dark experience. Ain't nobody around when you go through that. Do you realize in Nile Valley culture, our ancestors used to withdraw from society for 3 months at a time just to meditate and fast for 3 months at a time. We'll do it for 1 day and say, I'm awakened. Pass me some shea butter. Stop romanticizing everything about our culture. We romanticize everything. We romanticize revolution. Have you ever read the papers of Lumumba? Have you ever read the papers of Nkrumah? Have you ever read the papers of Sekou Touré? Have you ever read the papers of Nelson Mandela? Not the one who came out of jail, but the one who went in. Have you ever read the Mau Mau from Within? Do you realize that none of our freedom fighters wanted to fight? They did it because they had to, not because they wanted to. Stop romanticizing everything. We didn't romanticize fighting white people for so long. I don't think none of us want to stop. I don't think we want to win because we've made a lifestyle out of fighting against white supremacy. Not beating it, just struggling. I went to a Dr. Umar lecture. I got my struggle on. This ain't struggle, brothers and sisters. This is preparation for struggle. There's only one definition of struggle in my book, and that is to the extent that you directly challenge and confront your enemy, politically, economically, militaristically, and otherwise. Until we challenge white power, there has been no struggle. Brothers and sisters, let me say that our ancestors cry out to us from the grave. Let me say that every morning you wake up, I don't care if you got a backyard or a garden or none of that, I want you to go outside. The earlier the better. And pour your libations. Let it hit the concrete if you ain't got no plants. But pour that libation. We got to call them down. We got to call them down. They're watching, but they know we ain't serious yet. We got to call them down. And the best way to call down our goon is to show them that we are serious about what we're trying to do. Some of you go to church, but I don't think you really understood the philosophy of Christianity. Some of you go to the mosque, but I don't think you really understand the underlying philosophy of the Abrahamic faith. Some of you are Hebrew and study the Torah, but I really don't know if we really understand the foundational concept upon which every religious order exists. I don't care if you Christian or Muslim. I don't care if you Ifa or Dogon. I don't care if you Kemet or Akan. I don't care if you Palo or Lukumi. I don't care if you Rasta or any other religion. Every faith on earth, from traditional African spirituality to the religion that was made up last night, every last one of them places a premium on sacrifice as an offering to spirit in order to get something back from it. You don't get if you don't give. You don't get if you Christian, you believe what? That Jesus Christ had to give his life for the sins of the world. He had to sacrifice for you to be born again. You study Abraham, he was called to sacrifice his son to prove his worth to God. In African spirituality, we sacrifice to get assistance from spirit. So let me ask y'all a question. If Jesus had to sacrifice himself, theoretically, whether you believe in it or not, let's look at the parable. If Jesus Christ had to sacrifice himself for the sins of the world, and if Abraham almost had to sacrifice his son to prove his worthiness to God, and in every spiritual tradition, there's animal sacrifice in order to invoke spirit for assistance. And those of us who study traditional African systems, we know that the greater the problem, the greater the sacrifice. So if black people are trying to get out of white supremacy, if we're trying to regenerate African people, if we want a 21st dynasty of our own, and we've allowed all of our negative karma of not standing up to white folks collect itself into one big puddle, am I wrong in asserting that given the problem in front of us, the sacrifice to spirit in order to get help will have to be greater than any other sacrifice in the history of man? In other words, well, in April, I'm going to be hosting my first annual historically black college tour in Pan-African Boot Camp for black boys 11 to 17. New York City will be one of the pickup locations. I'm going to take your boys with me from approximately April 1st to April 7th. Because you live up in the northeastern section of the United States, your son will get on a tour bus in New York City, location to be determined, and we're going to take him down to the Deep South. And he's going to visit historically black colleges in Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi. In the daytime, he's going to go to colleges. At nighttime, he's going to be with me in the hotel. Not in his room, in the conference center. None of that. And in the conference center in the hotel, he's going to get seminars on what exactly white supremacy is. In the conference center in that hotel, he's going to get seminars on how to defend yourself. In that conference hall, he's going to get seminars on why you got to do better in school, young black man, even though you don't like it. He's going to get seminars on why you must respect your mother no matter what she done or what you think she done. Because children who don't respect their parents tend not to become good parents their damn selves. We're going to teach him about dealing with our sisters. We're going to teach him how to love and respect and why he must the black woman. We're going to teach him that if you're not going to be responsible with a black woman, don't even touch her. If you're not going to be responsible, don't even touch her. We're going to teach him about sexually transmitted diseases because they on the rise. A lot of y'all in denial. Y'all think your sons is virgins and your daughters too. And speaking of daughters, why ain't Dr. Umar bringing them on the tour this year? There will be no girls this tour. Not my first. There will be girls the second. The reason why there will be no girls this year is because your little girls in New York City are thirsty as hell. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I bring them little girls on my tour. I go to sleep. Her fresh ass gonna be twerking all down the hallway. No, I'm not gonna have it on my tour. Not the first one. Last thing I need is a mother from the Bronx on Facebook, or a father from Brooklyn on Facebook, or a grandma from Harlem on Facebook, an auntie from Queens on Facebook, Staten Island, talking about my baby got pregnant on Dr. Umar's tour. So I'm going to do the girls, but next year. Because I got to put some things in place to prevent conception while we're trying to educate. All right? So brothers and sisters, there's a website I want to give out to you right now. If you got a pen, write it down. If you got a tab on your cell phone, you can type it into the notepad on your cell phone. It's the website where you can register your son for Dr. Umar's HBCU tour. I'm looking forward to this, brothers and sisters. I will not be speaking in April because of this. There's 5 weeks in April. There will be 5 tours. Y'all get the first one. Y'all first up because I love y'all so much. So New York City going to be April 1st to the 7th, y'all first. And then we got Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia. And then we also got New Orleans, Louisiana. And then we also have Kansas City, Kansas. And then we have Dallas, Texas. So if you got nieces and, not nieces yet, nephews in other sections of the country who can benefit from this tour, let their parents and caregivers know to go to the website. The website is DRUMAR HBCU Tours. TOURS.com. DrUmarTours.com. I'll spell it again. DRUMAR. No period after doctor. Just DRUMAR. HBCUTOURS.com. The website is up. You can't register yet because we're still waiting to see what the tour bus is going to charge us. I'm not doing this trip for money, brothers and sisters. I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because I can't wait till we have the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy before I start helping our sons. Are y'all following me? I got to do something here, and I got to do something now. That's why we're doing this. For those of you who have sons between the ages of 17 and 25. Pass me that right. Oh, Baba Jeffrey. Put a hand together for Baba Jeffrey's in the building. I ain't even see him over there. But brothers and sisters, I got to do something now. For those of you who haven't signed up for this, you're going to do it the night before you leave because we are getting real serious about the Parent Association in 2015. 2014, we signed y'all up. 2015, we're about to get cracking, brothers and sisters. We had a 1 million man march. We had a 1 million family march. We had 1 million youth. But we ain't never had a 1 million parent yet. We ain't stood up yet for our babies, not when it comes to education. And we're about to do that, brothers and sisters. So if you haven't signed up for this yet, I want you to do it tonight. Your name, your phone number, your email address. If you know what committee you want to belong to, list it. If you don't know, leave it blank. You can choose later. If you know that you want to help me be an organizer, put organizer in the comment section. Because I need to have a teleconference call with all my folks who are going to be organizers. I need organizers for the special ed committee to help us fight against special ed when it's not necessary. I need organizers for the school discipline committee so we can investigate just how many days are black boys being kicked out of school on a regular basis in New York. I need organizers for the social committee to help us go out and wrap our arms around these single mothers who are here struggling. Stop talking about, well, if every mother just took care of their kids, we wouldn't have no problem. That's a lazy-ass excuse for you not wanting to do no work. You don't blame no one parent for all the hell they got to fight. Can't no one black mom take on New York City public schools by herself. We all got to do this together. You damn radical individualists. Well, if she just took care of her kid. Do you realize that lady got heart disease? Do you realize she waiting for a kidney? Do you realize she's dealing with a man who beating her half to death every night? Don't put it on her shoulders by herself. We're supposed to be a family, remember? I need folks to help us organize the finance committee to investigate how they spend money in New York, borough by borough. How much money going to special ed? How much money going to discipline? Who got the contract to clean the bathroom, and how many of them been black? Who got the contract to put in the video equipment in New York City schools? Has it ever been a black man? Who got the contract to clean the bathrooms? Have it ever been a black person? Who got the contract to drive the buses, cook the lunch? Has it ever been a black person? It's time to organize. We're going to have a homeschool committee to help all y'all parents who are homeschooling or want to homeschool until we have an FDMG here. We got to help you do it right. You're going to homeschool your child. There's things you got to do. Number one, what type of homeschool are you running? Are you year-round homeschool or are you 10-month homeschool? Do you follow the same calendar as the public school or are you year-round? How many hours are you giving to your child? Is it 4 hours a day? Is it 8? Have you created an academic map to make sure you go through the entire curriculum by the end of your year? You got to pace yourself. And most importantly, if you're homeschooling, who are you bringing into your home to evaluate what you are doing? Just because you homeschooling don't mean you're doing it right. Some of y'all ain't homeschooling. You home fooling the hell around. Damn kids in front of the TV watching Sesame Street twerk sessions and stuff. Bugs Bunny and stuff. And then we need a parent advocacy committee. A committee to fight. A committee that whenever a parent got to go to a meeting, somebody's right with her. Somebody's right with them. Every time they see us, we at least 2 deep. And sometimes if they want to bring 10 people to the meeting, we bringing 10 people to the meeting. We got to let them know we don't leave our parents alone in New York City no more. We ain't letting no mother go in that schoolhouse by herself. So you can manipulate her and bully her and lie on her and intimidate her and make her do something you know she ain't want to do. Some of y'all going to be the advocates. I need people with guts too. You got to be a no-nonsense African to be an advocate. I got to trust you to go into that school with that mother, that father, and come out with a victory. National Independent Black Parent Association. That will be one of the most important organizations for black people in this year. Talking is over. We got to build up now. As I close, for my parents who have issues with your children, I host a free conference call every Tuesday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday. If you ever need to find me because you don't know what to do, you can do it on Tuesday. The phone number, I don't know it by heart. But if you text my cell number, I will text you the call-in number for the Tuesday morning call. Any question you have. Why? Because some of y'all need me when y'all can't get me. And some of y'all think y'all the only parent that exists. So this way, every Tuesday, you can corner Dr. Umar on the phone. They want to put my son in special ed. I don't know what to do. My son is in special ed. I want to get him out. I don't know what to do. They want to bring my son up on expulsion charges. I don't know what to do. They said they think my son is autistic in the 2nd grade. What should I do? I'm here to help you, and I will do it for free on Tuesday morning, 6 to 8. All you got to do is call on in. So New York City, no more excuses about this. Stop putting my little brothers in special ed. I'm getting tired of it. Stop putting my little sisters in special ed. I'm getting tired of it. Stop letting white folks tell you your child is learning disabled. How the hell your child learning disabled when we got ancestors who taught themselves how to read under the punishment of death and your child is reading disabled? Are you crazy? Understand, special ed is only for learning problems, not for behavior. And even if your child has a disability, they do not go to special ed unless they need to. My son is autistic. He's in special ed. Excuse me. Can your autistic son learn in a regular class as well as the regular students? Yeah. So what the hell is he in special ed for? My son is special ed for ADHD. Can your son, with that so-called fake-ass ADHD, can he learn as well as the kids in the regular class? Yup. Why is he in special ed? Well, my daughter got a hearing problem. She got a hearing aid. She's in special ed. Can your daughter, with her hearing aid, can she learn in the regular class as well as the other kids in her grade? Yeah. Why is she in special ed? Y'all done turned special ed into a damn demon. Y'all done made it the catch-all for everything. I got kids in special ed who going through depression. They don't need no damn special ed. They need talk therapy. I got boys in special ed because they father in jail and mama won't take them to go see daddy. He don't need special ed. He needs his father. And speaking of incarceration, we got to stop forgetting about our brothers and sisters behind bars. If you got a brother or a sister or a friend behind bars, brothers and sisters, please go visit them. Please do it. And I'm saying that not just for their psychological health, but I know that the blacks in prison are the first to be used as research monkeys for white supremacy's latest technology. Your brother in jail, you ain't been to see him, he ain't had no money on his books. White man come to him, say, we want to test a certain drug. If you take this drug, we'll give you $500 on your books. Next thing you know, he find out he can never have another child the rest of his life because he wanted that $500. Come on, black woman, AIDS got our sisters dropping like flies. Be careful about who you dating, black woman. I'm serious now. Bisexuality is one of the #1 progenitors of the AIDS situation we got amongst heterosexual black women. Sisters, be careful. If it don't feel right, it ain't right. Brother, eyebrows longer than yours, get the hell up out of there. He get his nails done just like you, get up out of there. Accidentally put on your underwear, get up out of there. Scream more than you, get up out of there. I'm serious, black woman. As a therapist, a lot of brothers, not most brothers, but some brothers have gotten into this European thing where they in all types of unnatural forms of intimacy. Don't let no man do things to you that shouldn't be done. You got a brother who like visiting you through the back door. He don't like coming through the front door. Every time he want to visit mommy, he's through the back door. Something ain't healthy right there. And then some of them want to visit you through the back door, and the only way they can smile is in the back door. Do you know what's going on? That man has a history of only dealing with people's back doors. You better learn when to run. My next book I'm working on is for black women. You know what it's going to be called? Thirsty! A must read. I'm going to tell you all kind of stuff about black men you never knew. Everything your daddy wanted to tell you but can't because he was doing it. And you know what's sad about it? I bet you my thirsty book get my damn school built. How much you want to bet? It might get me on Oprah, Ayanla, Tavis. Brothers and sisters, we going back to Africa this summer. Save your money. I want to see some of y'all there. We're trying to do 3 countries, South Africa, Ethiopia, and Ghana. Trip is probably going to be about 4,500, brothers and sisters. So save your money. Get your passport. Get it now. Black man, if you owe child support, pay it off. You cannot get a passport without child support. Pay it off. No back money, no arrears, no nothing. Okay? But some of y'all know some law or something, so go ahead and work that so you can get on the trip with us. But we're going to have some fun. Children can go too. Children less than 2 can go for free. You just got to pay the travel tax, okay? And they do need a passport. The children need a passport as well, so get one for you and for the baby. Now, when we say children can travel for free, we're talking about babies under 2. Don't show up with no 16-year-old talking about she's going to ride on your lap. It ain't going to go like that. This ain't Soul Play. In conclusion, brothers and sisters, I want to say that I'm very thankful for all the support that y'all have given me through the years. This whole conscious thing has been phenomenal for me. It's changed my life. You know, it really has. And I don't take it for granted, but I do it with an end in mind, and that is to build that school. So if you haven't made a donation to the school, I want you to decide on a monthly amount that you can give me every month. If you're a single mom and you can only spare $5, then Queen Mother, you send me that $5, and I will honor that as if it was $5 million because it came from your heart. But I ask that you give me at least what you give to non-African people financially, because you've been putting Jewish kids through college for years. You've been putting Chinese kids through college for years with your damn chicken wing money. Putting Chinese kids through Harvard with chicken wings. Some of y'all so in love with chicken wings, you don't even know it's not a chicken wing. How the hell you gonna have a chicken wing that look like this? That's a damn head with nails on it. You need to cut it out. Brothers and sisters, I was in Mississippi for Kwanzaa, third and fourth day, and there's a school for sale in Mississippi, a former white military residential school. I toured it, met with the guy who's selling it, and it's going to be a toss-up between St. Paul's in Virginia and the military school outside of Jackson, Mississippi. So this is what I'm going to do. I want y'all to know. I got an email from the NAACP president down in that town in Mississippi today. They invited me down to talk with the black community to let them know about my plans for that school. I'm going to do the same thing in Lawrenceville, Virginia. The good news about both of these schools, they're in the middle of a black community. I want to see how much support the immediate community is willing to give Dr. Umar, okay? Because it's going to be a residential school for your children coming from New York, but it'll be a day school for their children because they can walk there. So I'm going to meet with the black community in Lawrenceville, Virginia. I'm going to meet with the black community down in, what is the name of that city? You know what? I can't tell y'all because the haters will get it. But it's a city right outside of Mississippi. Okay? And I'm going to see which of them seem the most serious about helping me raise the money to get this school. Now, they can't do it on their own. Y'all still going to have to help, all right? But I want y'all to know I'm still working on it. In the meantime, send in those donations. Send them in, send them in, send them in. My phone number, 215-989-9858. Again, 215-989-9858. Again, 215-989-9858. That's my cell. Okay, you could text me for the Tuesday call-in. You could text me for updates on the Africa situation, the trip. You could text me on what's going on with the schools. Okay, but we're going to end up with one or the other of those schools. You know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping y'all give me enough money. We get both of them. FDMG North, FDMG South. One for the boys, one for the girls. If I don't have your resume and you want to work at my school, send it in. You email your resume to fdmgresumes@gmail.com. fdmgresumes, RESUMES, Yes, we need teachers, but I need security guards. I need nurses. I need social workers. I need secretaries. I need receptionists. I need bus drivers. I need house parents to live with the children in the evening. I need people who know natural hair care. I need people who know how to do raw food, because the school is going to be 80% raw and vegan, 20% meat. Now, some of my vegan extremists is looking at me like, why I can't be all veggie? Eyes popping out their head. Why can't it be all veggie? Because I don't want to be no hypocrite. And once in a while, I need me some scrimps. Cut it out, Keisha! Stop it! Once in a while, I need me a rib, damn it! I need basketball coaches, football coaches, swim coaches. They have a rifle range at the one in Mississippi, y'all. They got a rifle range, and they also have a paintball course on the campus. In the one in Mississippi. Yes, and they got a pond on the damn campus. And they got boats there. They said we keep everything that's there. We can have a canoeing club. We're going to get one of them schools now. But if you're going to send me a resume, please, you cannot be sexually confused, and you cannot be married to an alien. And ladies, my beautiful black sisters, you know your hair got to be natural by the time you show up for work. So I like to say, as I close, and again, we'll be back here Monday at the same time to honor Dr. Khalid. I want to say that we're going to keep on pushing and keep on fighting. I want you to bury the hatchet this new year with anybody you had a problem with, anybody you ever had an issue with. Start fresh. Forgive them. Let bygones be bygones. Start fresh. Black people, we carry too much negative trauma from year to year. Negative karma, negative trauma, grudges, regrets. Forgive yourself, too. Some of us can forgive other people and can't forgive ourselves. And do you know why we don't like to forgive ourselves? We don't think we're worthy of it. It goes back to self-hate and self-denigration. You ain't talked to your mother? Call her. You got issues with your daddy? Work it out. You and your son and your daughter, they away on college and y'all kind of left on a bad note? Go visit them. Sneak up on them. Surprise them and give them a hug. One of the best ways to disarm an African is to just hug them. Now, I know some of us say, I don't like touching everybody. I can understand that. But all you got to do is go to the Shea Butter Queen. She can smudge you out. But in the meantime, get somebody a hug. I see somebody looking at me. They got some hate. I'm going to go right over and hug them. It's hard to keep up a negative pulse when you're in the face of a positive charge. So let us go into the new year with positivity, with a belief we can overcome. Let me say this as I leave you before I give you my favorite quote. The white man has colonized Africa. He has colonized New York. He has colonized our music. He has colonized our inventions. He has colonized our culture. He has taken over everything possible, but he has not yet won until he colonizes one thing. And this is the one thing that you must fight for. Do not let white supremacy colonize your mind. As long as your mind stays free, there is hope for African people. But the minute you say that our condition is beyond repair, the minute you say we'll never overcome this oppressor, the minute you say God must have fixed it like this, you have given white supremacy its greatest victory. And that is in convincing the opponent that he is invincible. Don't you ever surrender that to your enemy. What does the song say? Lift every voice when hope unborn has died. Don't let nobody kill our children's future. There's an African proverb that says, as long as another baby is born into the world, that's evidence that God has not given up yet. My ancestor said, and when I'm done, for those of y'all who was asking me about my book and my T-shirts, you go through this door right here, the green door, and the merchandise is on the other side with Brother Sean, LaRon, and Rial, okay? If we need to take a picture of something, do it over there. Frederick said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and deprecate agitation are like men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want the rain but can't stand the thunder or the lightning. He said they want the ocean, but we're scared to deal with the roar of the waters. He said the struggle we have might be physical, or it might be moral, or it might be both physical and moral, but it must be a struggle. He said, men may not get all they work for in this world, but you must certainly work for everything you get, and these you must pay for with blood or with sweat or with tears or even with your life. But freedom is not free. He said, for 20 years, I prayed on my knees to God, but the good Lord gave Frederick no freedom until I got up off my knees and started praying with my feet. He said, if you want respect, why are you looking for pity? The man who pities you will never respect you, and the man who respects you has no need for pity. He said, in slavery, I learned that the slave who was whipped the most was always the one who was easiest to whip. He said, we determine how poorly white folks treat us, not them. The first of my ancestors was a black man named Bell. He stolen from West Africa, brought to Talbot County, Maryland. He married Grandmom Selah. They had Grandmom Jenny in 1745. In 1774, 200 years before I was born, in 1974, Grandma Betsy was born into slavery, but she married a free black man, Grandpop Isaac. They had a daughter named Young Betsy, who was raped by Aaron Anthony, who owned my family, giving birth to Stephen Henry Belly, my great-great-great-great-grandfather, who was the younger brother of Frederick Douglass, whose mother, my Aunt Harriet, was raped by the same slave master, making Frederick and Stephen cousins and brothers. The moms were sisters, and the slave master was both their dads. So Grandpop Stephen wasn't as lucky as Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred escaped at the age of 20, but Grandpop Stephen remained behind slavery in Maryland. He married a black woman who was enslaved on the same plantation, Grandmom Caroline Wilson. They jumped the broom. Their firstborn son, George Washington Bailey, 1841, my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. He was born in slavery. Civil War kicks off. Grandpop Stephen stands up and tells Grandpop George, you coming with me, son. We got to fight for the freedom of our people. Uncle Frederick told Lewis and Charles, I know y'all my sons, but I need y'all to go fight. How can I be the leader of black folk if my sons ain't willing to shed blood for their people? When the Civil War was over, Grandpop George married Annie Wayman. She was the niece of Bishop Alexander Wayman of the African Methodist Episcopal Church under Richard Allen. They had a daughter by the name of Caroline. Caroline moved to Philadelphia after her parents died to live with her older sister. She had a daughter named Vivian, and Vivian married a Spanish-speaking Cuban immigrant named Cicero. And they had a daughter named Ida, and Ida married James Johnson, and they had Jamal. And Jamal married Barbara. And 11 generations later, Barbara and Jamal gave birth on the anniversary of the Haitian Revolution, and the anniversary of the Nat Turner War, and the anniversary of the Frederick Douglass Fugitive Slave Convention, and the anniversary of the George Jackson assassination. Umar Johnson was born in North Philadelphia, August the 23rd. One of the very first projects at FDMG. In order to graduate from my school, your child is going to have to, with our help, reconstruct all 4 roots of their entire family tree by the time they graduate. That's why you got to support FDMG. Ain't no school like the one I'm going to give you. So support me. I leave you in the words of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, second only to Frederick in prominence, who named his first Black Star Line steamship the SS Frederick Douglass. Mr. Garvey said, in a world of wolves, in a world full of wolves, you must go armed. And Garvey said the most powerful defensive weapon that black people can use right now to fix our situation is to practice race first wherever you go. Be black, be African, be black African before you a Sigma or a Q. Be black African before you a Delta or a Zeta. Be an African before you a Mason or an Elk. Be an African before you belong to one of those blue vein societies. Be an African before you anything else. Be African before you Muslim, African before you Christian. Be African. And everything else will take care of itself. He said the Jew is a Jew first. The Arab is an Arab first. And you must be African first. Stop putting yourself last while the rest of the world put themselves first. And lastly, Garvey said that if black people really got to know ourselves, if we really, really, really got to know ourselves, he said if we really, really, really got to know ourselves, we could transform our condition in 24 hours. Going forward, 2015, we're not fighting over what to call God no more. We're going to respect everybody's decision to call God what they want him to be. Going forward, we're not fighting over whether we Moors or Hebrews or Gods and Earths, Nawapians, Pan-Africanists, Socialists. Whatever we want, let's respect everybody's right to be what they are. Booker T said, be as separate as the fingers in things that are individual to you. But in things common to us all as a people, we must join those fingers as a fist under one God, one aim, one destiny. New York City, I love you. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Much love, brothers and sisters. Much love. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. I'm going to get a mic back over to Keisha. Keep the signing sheet going. Don't leave until you sign. Don't leave until you sign. I'm going to go to the other side. If anyone needs to come over there, take a picture or sign a book. Peace and love, black family.
Give it up again for my brother from another mother, Dr. Umar Abdullah Johnson. Now, hold on. I don't want you to leave yet. I ain't letting you out yet. Friday, this Friday at 7 p.m., I want to see y'all all at Convent Avenue Baptist Church. That's on 145 in Convent Avenue as we honor the centennial of Dr. John Henrik Clark. You hear me? It's a free event. I want to see you there. If you honor Dr. Clark, you need to be there. His wife, Sister Sybil Clark, dignitaries from around the world will be there. Dr. Jeffries will be there. Alton Maddox will be there. Mike Grays will be there. So please, I want to see y'all there. Now, come on, Mr. Peavy. Earlier this evening, Sister Pat asked you if you wanted to get a money order so we can walk Maddox back into the courtroom to represent Ramsey Order. Those money orders are $1, $2. Right now, you can make, I don't want you to put your name on it. Come up with an organization. Make it the Nat Turner organization tonight, all right? You hear me? Not your name, but from the Nat Turner organization, all right? He got how many left? He got 49 money orders left, just $2. You don't got a stamp or nothing. We're going to walk it into the courtroom. We're going to make it happen. This is our time, our generation. This is our time to make it happen. Hold on, I don't want you to leave because we're going to close out in traditional United African Movement fashion. So that we can, there you go. He got 40-something left. Yeah. Brother Peavy, somebody looking to take them all off your hand right now. Uh-oh. Come on.
What you need?
Come on.
I got him right here.
He right here. Brother Peavy, turn around now.
I got him right here.
Turn around. Come here, Pat. We need you to help him out.
One.
Come on now. This is how you doing, sis?
Not all. What you got changed?
I want Melanin Sue Tech to come up here with me tonight. Where she at? She left?
$2.
Oh, there she go. Uh-oh, come on.
Huh?
This a bad sister right here.
Yeah, it's $2.
I am so honored to be in her presence tonight. I'm going to tell y'all right now, while you getting the money orders from Pat and Reggie, I'm going to let her say a few words to y'all, all right? Can you do that? Can you respect the queen real quick? Can you do that? If not, I got a pistol. Please don't make me mad. Give it up for the sister, the queen, Melanin Sutek.
Peace and love, brothers and sisters. I want to give y'all all a shout out for coming out and showing true black love and unity. This is something that we need. The kid. Okay. This is something that we need more frequently. We need to have social gatherings where we could just be amongst each other to feel each other's love, because a lot of us feel isolated due to our views and our outlooks on our circumstances. Some people call us crazy. Some people call us evil. Some people call us that we're a hate group. But no, we're a pro-black group. And that has nothing to do with anybody else. We're just concerned with our issues. Blacks, issues for blacks only. The one thing I want to let to be known is that my journey in quest is to combat black feminism. And it's not about combating my sisters, but the organization and the mind frame of it itself. Also, I want to be an advocate for single black fathers who are having problems with the legal system when it comes to their child. Black women, stop being bitter. Let your children have their fathers. That's the one thing y'all want to do when y'all get upset towards the father. The first thing you want to do is say, I'm going to keep your child from you and put him through the legal system. Keep the system out of your household and out of your life. Because when y'all was doing what y'all did, the system was not there. So I ask y'all to support me and come on to Facebook and follow me, Melanin Sutek. And I'm looking for a lot of brothers and sisters just to come out and unify and to see how we can use our skills and profession to come together and how can we be active. Because like he said in 2015, our job is to do something and to be effective. Don't come out here and pump your fist, but you're not about that life. I'm tired of the phonies. I'm tired of the people who want to feel good. Like Umar said, we turning this into church. We're no better than them. Like he said, we are conscious of our situation, but we're not doing nothing to change that. And it needs to end. Black women start coming out to the events. I'm tired of going to the events and I'm the only one there. That's why the ego's out of control, because he needs to see that he's in the presence of the divine mother and the child. All right? So thank you all for coming out and be in contact with me. I'm here.
Give it up again for the queen. Give it up. Give it up. That's Melanin Sutek on Facebook. I gotta work for you. There you go.
Melanin, MELANIN, Suit, SUT, Tech, TEKH, Melanin Sutek.
Okay, so now, Hotep, I need you all to join hands. Let's try to make a circle. Let's join hands. You come up here, join hands with me. Let's go. Come on, sis. My sister is in school studying agricultural science. She's doing the damn thing. She is doing the damn thing. Come on, Melanie, come here. He said just pass it up. He's coming back to get it. Let's join hands. I know y'all know how to join hands now. I know y'all know how to do that. Put your hand on my shoulders. Okay. I know y'all know how to do that. I want to see everybody's hands conjoined with someone else's. I know y'all know how to do that now. Don't tell me you're in remedial now. Brother Terrell, what's up, brother? That brother is developing an economic plan for us for real. We all conjoined? Are you all conjoined? Now I need silence from you. I need you to pipe down real quick. Y'all gonna be quiet in the back. Don't make me pull a weapon out. Please. Please. Simon, tell them how I roll. Please. Let's quiet down. I hear voices in the back. Tyrone, can we pipe down 1 second? Now, you thought Umar brought you here tonight. He did not. Dr. Jeffries didn't bring you here. Alton Maddox didn't bring you here. Every week I tell you your direct ancestors brought you here. that great-great-grandfather from all the hell he caught, that great-great-great-grandmother, all the hell she caught. When you look in the mirror, you should see your direct ancestors. As Dr. Umar said, it is very important that you study your own family history to know why you are here tonight. That tells me that each one of your direct ancestors were serious warriors. Otherwise, you would not be here. You'll be home watching Mob Wives. You'll be home watching Atlanta Housewives. You'll be home watching the Knicks get their ass whooped again. But this tells me that your direct ancestors were true warriors. They were clergy people. They were masons. They were doctors. They were lawyers. They were engineers. Check your own family history. I know my aunts caused riots here in Brooklyn fighting the police. So I know what my ancestry is. Study yours. Always remember who and what we are, brothers and sisters. We are an African people. Robbed of our homeland, robbed of our names, our languages, our cultures, our religions, our womanhood, our manhood, our brotherhood, our sisterhood, our motherhood, our fatherhood, our nationhood, and our self-respect. But we shall rise, never to fall again. Up, you mighty race. You can accomplish what we will. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Travel safe. See you next week. Professor Griffin, Zaza Ali. You can go right through the green doors to see Umar and his tables, take pictures. I need you to hit Tyrone in the back. He has the book, The True Story of Tawana Brawley, complete with medical documents, legal documents, and everything. The title of the book, written by Dr. Melva Jackman, they called her a liar. You need to get this in the back. Pick up something to eat on your way out. Black power today, black power tomorrow, and black power forever. Do you understand that, brothers and sisters? Do you understand that? I want to see you next week with Professor Griffin, Zaza Ali. Black power, brother. I see you. I see you.